Welcome to another Wisdom Pod. We have Randy Dyck. Am I pronouncing that right? Dyck?
Dyck, you just call me. That's all that
Dyck
matters.
Dyck, Randy the man. Randy is the founder at Eximus real estate team. He's in Vancouver. Cool guy. He kite surfs. I think that's what we call it. Nice pictures of helicopters and him golfing. Pretty accomplishment right there. 30 years in the real estate industry. Yeah, team lead at X Realty. I started my career serving real estate agents. So we're gonna have a fun convo about life, growth, growing a company, growing a team, sales, AI, everything in between today. Podpire is presenting that podcast. That is my podcasting company. If you want to monetize podcasting, we help you get AdSense dollars in your account. We help you get sponsors to pay you and to generate leads from your podcast. So go grab our free ebook and masterclass on podpire.com. Randy, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Well, thanks for having me, and it's great to be here. Um, I'm involved in quite a few things, but one of that you mentioned was kite surfing. I love to kite surf. That's kind of one of my fun things to do. I like to date my wife, which is another cool thing. I've been happily married for 38 years, which is kind of a cool thing to be saying I've accomplished that. But I just love living life wide open, and I'm an entrepreneur. And of course, real estate's been a really big piece. 7,000 sales between my team and I over the last 3 decades. Of course, I've got a coaching program that's really exciting, scientific scaling systems. It's all about the science and scaling, and then putting systems into place. And I'm involved in some other things like development and mindset and all that kind of good stuff.
Right. When did you started to expand and buying real estate as an investment, doing the coaching stuff? Like when did you make substantial amounts of money in the real estate game? How far in it?
Well, let's go way, way back. So 1992 is when I got my real estate license, and very fortunate to have an acquaintance, which became a friend and a business partner. And he was developing properties. And so he just encouraged me to invest some money with him way back in the mid 90s. And that's when I started developing and investing in properties alongside with him. He is still a partner of mine. He is still doing incredible work in the development piece. And I get to kind of ride his coattails a bit. He leads that, and I continue to work hard and earn some money. And then I invest with him and we do things together. So that's from way, way back in 1995. Very fortunate to launch fairly quickly in the real estate game. I was rookie of the year, and then I just kept progressing and basically doing R&D, rip off and duplicate what I thought was really cool from other people, and they were having success. So it's been a pretty good ride.
Yeah, my R&D, my copy paste improve nowadays is done with ChatGPT, so it's super helpful. I think it's easier than ever nowadays to just launch a business. Feed it what the best does with your own spice, and ask ChatGPT to improve it. And there you go. You're up to a market, sort of, if you apply it really well. I think execution's the hard part, right? In your case, what are you chasing nowadays? Because you have the money, you do the nice sports, and you seem to have a pretty complete life. What is driving you?
It's a great question. I'm just a driven individual, and I have a hard time sitting still and just watching the clouds go by. So I'm always looking for something to dig into. And today, my coaching program. I mean, I've been coaching agents for 25 years. I've been a team lead for 25 plus years. And so it's always been that process of finding good talent, helping them see their talent, helping them understand their potential, and then bringing the best out of them. And so, I realized, gosh, why don't I take this to the world rather than just keeping it to myself and a few agents on my team that come and go. And so that's been really exciting of late, is just sharing my 25 years of team lead knowledge, expertise, helping agents level up and taking agents from zero to hero. In most cases, many agents have come to me as brand new agents. In fact, that's the agent I really enjoy, is taking somebody from zero to whatever their number is. My goal, my standard for any agent is at least 3 deals a month. And through my process of scientific scaling systems, it's almost it's a probable rather than a possible.
I've just seen that you're into helicopters as well. Like, what is it with helicopters? Aren't these like quite dangerous?
Well, Charles, I've broken 19 bones in my body. I've lived pretty aggressively. My worst break was I broke my neck at 14 and was paralyzed for a period of time from the neck down. Whoa. So I just like living on the edge, and whether it's kite surfing or really isn't anything I haven't attempted or done, because I just want to fill up my experience box with a lot of stuff. And helicopters aren't that scary, actually. I've done a lot of other things that are a lot more scary than helicopters, but I do enjoy life. I do enjoy life to the fullest.
Right. And you train. How is fitness part of your system to grow and keep scaling in life?
Love that question. One of the things that is part of my coaching or my team is that I have an accountability checklist, a daily accountability checklist. And one of those is, health and wellness. Health and wellness is really important to have success. And so, I'm a better person. I'm a better husband, a better father, a better business person when I'm fit and healthy and exercising. So that's something I do. This morning I was up at 4:40 in the morning and off to the gym, and did my routine at the gym, and I'm back for a shower and breakfast with my wife, and then we usually walk the beach and then I'm ready to rock and roll by about 8:00.
Tell me about that fitness routine. Is it the same? Do you vary? Tell me a bit more about that.
It's changed a lot over the years. And in fact, I was never a gym rat. I was 42 years old, 43 years old or something like that. And then I was challenged by somebody that came into my office and said, "Hey, I've hired a trainer." And I said, "What's that like?" Because I'm a curious dude. Curiosity is one of the greatest gifts that we have, that we kind of park on the shelf once we turn 14. But I'm curious. And so I asked, "What's that like?" And he says, "Well, he's beating the crap out of me, and I'm hurting all over." And I thought, wow, what a cool challenge that would be. I've never done that. My fitness level was always just, chasing a ball or a puck or riding a bicycle or whatever it was. And so I'd never gone to the gym until I was in my early 40s. And then I absolutely got hooked on it. And partially I got hooked on it because prior to that, my neck would bother me so much, I would self-massage my neck if I wasn't with people. And then about 4 weeks into this trainer killing me, I was going, man, my neck doesn't hurt anymore. And so that was a hook for me to never stop going. And I've done everything from personal trainers, one-on-ones, to group setting, to pushing heavy weights and pulling heavy weights, to right now I'm at F45. I don't know if it's kind of like a 45-minute HIIT kind of program. So I change it up all the time, but I got to get out there and exercise.
Love it. The 37 years with your wife, I think you mentioned. How does one do that?
It's a lot of work. It's there's a lot of joy in it, but there's a lot of work, because it's not always bliss. And everything in life, if you want to be good at something, you got to put the intent into it. You got to be intentional about it. So a couple things that we're super intentional on is still dating. We date each other. We have our special nights. They're sacred. Business, whatever doesn't get in the way of whether it be a Friday night or a Saturday night. They're just sacred nights. We don't let business interrupt those. We always do a honeymoon trip. So every year we call it the honeymoon trip, and we actually go away. And this is when we had young kids as well. We would leave the kids with somebody else and disappear for 10 days and call it our honeymoon. And so you kind of re-energize your whole year by being selfish with one another. And, usually it was a pretty romantic location and hotel or whatever. But, everything in life, if you want to do it well, you got to be very intentional about it and take it seriously and work at it. And, this isn't what I have said, but a friend of mine said this once to me. Listen, why would I ever give up my marriage? Like this incredible woman is an A+. Like 85% of the time I really, really like her, and 15% of the time I don't. But that's an A+. I got to keep that program going.
I agree with that. The people, novices, you won't like your wife 100% of the time. That's novice thinking right there. Especially when you've dealt with that many humans in life, employees, family, friends, that when you really get to know them and when you spend a lot of time with them, you're not gonna like 100% of them.
No.
Let's talk about real estate for a moment. So I had the Toronto realtor founder of a team just like you on the pod about a week ago, and she was saying that the Canadian real estate market is not doing super good right now. Is that true? And how is precisely the Vancouver real estate market doing?
Well, the market in most parts of Canada is struggling right now, and part of it's the affordability, but the Vancouver market right now is struggling. Our volume of sales is down considerably, and in fact, volume of sales is probably at some of the lowest points consistently month after month for the last 12, 16, 18 months. Even when we went through the credit crunch of 2008, 9, at that point, we had a couple of very, very slow volume months, but that was 1 or 2 months. We've had consistently those kind of volume months over the last, 16 to 18 months. So it's been really, really tight. Our inventory was very, very low, call it 16, 18 months ago, but now now the inventory is growing. And so we're seeing prices, slip a bit. Depending on the market, it could be down 15, maybe even as much as 20% on those really poor properties. The good neighborhoods, the good properties are down probably about 10, 12, 13% from the peak, which was 2022. The January of 2022 was kind of the peak. So there's certainly been some changes, but we just had another interest rate cut today. And so, I'm hoping the spring market kicks in and we've got some good energy moving forward through 2025. I think 2025 is going to be a transition year.
And is that good for your coaching business?
Well, I coach agents all over North America. So, it really doesn't matter. But yes, for the coaching business, anybody that's struggling, which is a lot of agents are struggling, I can certainly help them get on track and meet their personal goals.
Right. And okay, now what that means, because she was the last person I had on the bus, she was talking about the renters market and the fact that there's a lot of immigration moving out of Canada, immigrants moving out. What does that mean for the market, and how or when can the situation become better?
That's a great question. Immigration has slowed, and we actually have what I would call reverse immigration happening. People are voluntarily moving out in some cases. In some cases, they're being pushed back out by the government. And so that is certainly creating a little bit of a softer rental market in some markets. The Vancouver market really hasn't experienced that at this point. It's still very, very strong as far as rentals. We're in most cases underserved in the rental market as far as purpose-built rentals and rental opportunities. The government is killing us as property owners. They're taking away some of our rights to rent out our own properties through Airbnb and those kind of things, which kind of works against it. I don't know. The government is so calcified, if I can say that. The calcification of government. They don't know what they're doing, and they're actually making everything more sticky and difficult. It's almost like they're wanting to create a heart failure of the whole economy in some ways. But the market right now in the rental market is still pretty strong in the Vancouver market, but I do see that changing a little bit as time goes on.
And how would you improve the governmental situation? Is it changing the electoral system as a whole?
Oh man, that's a big question. So I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, and then of course there's the Canadian federal government, and each level of government, including our municipalities, our cities, they're just taxing the well-to-do to give to the non-well-to-do. And that's often through property is where they can leverage it the easiest and successfully incorporate new taxes. Our provincial government has added almost some 30 new taxes in the last 3-4 years to each and every British Columbia resident that's a homeowner. And so every time you're taxed, it just makes it more and more difficult to make it work. Inflation, we can talk about inflation, we can talk about interest rates, all of those pieces. And then the housing, which is kind of odd when you think about it. If you look at the size of Canada, second largest country in the world, and we only have a population of less than 45 million, yet we have a housing crisis. We have a shortage of housing, and the shortage just keeps escalating the prices. It just doesn't add up. So I put so much of that back towards the government in how they're so difficult to work with getting properties rezoned, zoning issues, the whole process it takes so long, and there's so many taxes involved in getting it to the point where the end user can buy it that it's just escalated in cost excessively.
So how are you adapting to this?
Well, how am I adapting to it? Well, there's a lot of well-to-do people moving to Canada still. It's still a very strong country for people to move to, and they're bringing their money in forms of millions of dollars in a lot of cases. So they're still actively coming, and they're still actively buying, but it's on a much slower pace. My sales volume personally, myself and my team's volume of sales is down. So we're fighting through that. However, in comparison to most agents or most teams, we're still very, very strong and doing well. But there's pieces of ways to diversify. I'm in some development deals as well, which are struggling, but that's the way it is. Business cycles through like a 10-year cycle. I don't know if you've read the book Shine by
Nope.
By Gino Wickman, but he talks about the 10-year cycle. And in 10 years, you're going to have 2 years that are just outrageously strong, which we had that through COVID. If we think of real estate, it was just ridiculous. And then you're going to have 2 years of winter that are just painful. And a lot of people won't make it through the winter. And then you've got 6 years that are good. So if you think of the 10-year cycle, we went through COVID, 2 years of incredible growth, like just wild. And now we're in 2 years of winter. And so I think this is that transition year that we're going to find our way out of winter and maybe find a little bit of the spring. Late 2025 and 2026 will start to turn around. And we'll see.
It's interesting, right? Because me, I'm on the opposite end of business of yours, which is like all online almost. And COVID has been pretty bad, or at least the start of it.
Mhm.
And yeah, after that was pretty good. A lot of younger folks, they're investing in SaaS business fully online, as old folks would invest in properties, and also invest in cryptocurrencies and blockchain and so forth, stuff that the government doesn't have the control over. What do you think
Mhm.
about these new thesis?
Well, we have to be always ready to pivot and adapt. When we get comfortable, being comfortable is a silent killer of greatness. And so many people get comfortable. Even you know, as you do well, you just like lifestyle and the way that you respond to things, you just get comfortable, which is the silent killer of greatness. So I love the fact that there's other lanes, there's other opportunities, or what I would call money rivers or commission rivers or whatever you want to call, that are available to us. And in fact, I think today, if you are a driven individual, if you're curious, if you want to expand, I don't think there's been a better time to really, I mean, really, really make it big if you want to put the time and the effort into it. But I find a lot of people aren't willing to do it. They don't
Right.
want to execute on it. They have a good idea, but it's I don't know if I want to put that much effort into it. I'm
Yeah.
coming.
An accountability buddy, right, is what rings to my mind. And if they don't have the cash or the connections for an accountability buddy, they can create an accountability GPT. The prompt is, you are my accountability GPT. You will keep me accountable to do stuff on a daily basis. You will challenge my
Mhm.
belief. You will suggest me to do as a real estate agent, for example. I think there's so much possibility if people just like give themselves the chance to test out these technologies, like can be quite game changing.
Yeah.
Randy, I'm glad that you dropped on the pod to add value. Where can people find out more about you?
Well, I'm all over the net, all over the web, but Instagram, Randy C. Dyck or Dick. I'm easy to find there on all the social platforms. And my website, www.randydick.com, is another great spot to find me. But reach out to me. I love to connect with people and bring value. Anytime I can bring value, I'm winning.